Welcome to Squirrel Trails. I'm David.
And I'm Al.
Today, we're going to be talking about what?
We're going to be talking about the FBI lying to Congress about the data that they've been collecting and how they're going to use it. Well, technically, they weren't collecting it. It was being collected by the NSA and CIA.
Okay.
But they were able to use it.
Sure.
And they fibbed, to be gentle, about how they were going to use that information.
And so we're going to try to stay politically left or right, or
we're going to be centered on this one. The reality is that this is as much a question about what happens when people have information that they can use, as opposed to, what's right, what's wrong. Those are kind of odd concepts. Like to get out of that thing. But just in general, when you provide information to somebody and it's there and stored, what are they likely to do with it?
So we're not trying to be political at all. So with that, if you're going to stay tuned, thank you, and let's get into it.
And of course, you stayed tuned. Stop that. Lord, what are you doing? Telling them to go away. Stop this.
Before we get into this real quick, want to make one quick announcement. I apologize for last week, our audio or video. Tuesday's video didn't go up at all because the audio didn't show up.
Again?
Yeah. So we got things under control a little bit, and yeah, so I just wanted to apologize to you guys.
Sounds like my real job.
Yeah. So with that, what would help us a lot is those thumbs up for us doing a good job on our videos that we do, and then a subscription. Hit subscribe. That way we can be notified, and we can actually start growing the channel.
And to be honest, any kind of comments at all help, because that gets us better. Positive reinforcement or even opportunities to improve are more than welcome.
Yep. And unlike the FBI, we actually appreciate opinions.
Well, I'm sure they appreciate them too, but
only in their own views.
Okay. Again, we're not going to be political.
Yes. Okay. So what's the article about?
So in this case, there's been a battle, I think, as most people in the United States know, there's been a battle about information that's collected about us as the NSA and CIA and others are collecting material associated to foreign intelligence gathering or terrorism, other things. So when they are collecting that data against a particular target that's outside the U.S. or is a foreign national inside the U.S., they collect information, incidentally is the technical term, about U.S. citizens would be there. Now that information, if they were collecting it normally, would fall under the protection of the Fourth Amendment, illegal search and seizure. You just can't, they're just not allowed to go out and collect data from us without a actual warrant to get that information. A judge has to approve it and otherwise.
Okay.
So in this case, what's been happening is, really for the last decade and a half or more, CIA and NSA have been collecting information in support of primarily anti-money laundering and terrorism activities. As they collect that data, they've collected data about probably you and me and everybody else. That data is not supposed to be available to anybody else outside of the CIA or NSA, and only in the use that they're doing for targeting foreign nationals. It's not, however, the FBI, under what's called Rule 702, is allowed to use that information if they get a warrant to take a look at that information.
So the rule is if the data that they've accidentally,
not accidentally, incidentally, there is a difference.
Incidentally, which
because there's
means
nothing accidental about the collection.
Incidental. So they're using the wrong. So they're using the wrong term.
No, they're actually using the right term. Okay, we are not going to turn this into a conversation about incidental versus accidental, because that could be a lot of fun, but we may never get there. But
So
the key aspect of this, the information's been collected, but it wasn't, the primary purpose wasn't to collect information about, say, you.
okay,
You just happened to be on the phone with somebody that they were investigating.
sure, okay. That's the only reason why they collected the data. Okay. Yep, not going there.
Okay, so we're now 5 minutes into this.
Yep. So just yeah. Okay. So what's the article? So go.
Okay, so
Before I start arguing, this may be just a you read the article and then Tuesday's video is me arguing.
so in this situation, there's been a battle for the last year or so going on about whether or not the FBI should be able to collect that information, should be able to have access to that information. Because what's happened under Rule 702 is that they can access that information if, without a warrant, if it is being used for murder, significant bodily harm, attacks to the infrastructure, terrorism.
The list was long.
The list was long, and it's essentially everything
they
that the FBI does, with the exception of presentations to the public and
Bank robberies.
And bank robberies. So, so basically,
kind of what they do anyways.
yeah. So, at any rate, yeah.
So they don't need a warrant for just about everything, except if I was involved in a bank robbery.
Unless you talk to a foreign national about it.
There we go. Okay, so I should talk to foreign nationals about bank robberies.
So there.
The FBI won't talk to me at all.
Okay, now here's really clear. Neither of us are clearly attorneys.
No.
So, nor are we in the criminal justice field. Unless, remember, let's just be, this is our opinion based on the material we've read and our background. So I am a pretty strong privacy advocate.
Yes.
To be absolutely clear, I've been studying privacy as a topic since, good Lord, since the 80s and 90s, and hardcore since about the 2000s. So this is actually kind of scary stuff.
Yeah, that's an understatement.
Because the FBI has the ability to, make you go away for a very long time.
They can hurt you pretty bad.
Pretty bad.
Yeah,
with this information. But let's go back to the reason we're talking about this is everybody thought it was okay that they collected the information because they were looking for it for other purposes. And of course, and this is exactly what the FBI said, of course we won't misuse it. We have all sorts of rules and procedures in place to prevent that.
Yes.
Again, I've made a career of investigating companies as an internal auditor, a risk professional, where people don't follow the rules. So I just call me a bit of a cynic.
Just a little bit.
So the FBI said, "Don't worry about it. We will not misuse us. Trust us."
Yeah, right. Trust the FBI.
Trust anybody. Let's think about that.
Any
human nature.
Human nature. Yes.
Yeah. So you give information to Facebook.
Yep.
What do you think they're going to do with it?
Not misuse it at all. Never.
Right. Never. Ever.
Nope. It's only they're not going to use it to make money.
Right.
No.
So
not at all.
So this is kind of the natural thing. So even when somebody says something, so you think about what's in a privacy policy. David has another word for it, but we won't go there because he uses the initials for privacy policy. And within that, it tells people how they're going to use that data. And we kind of assume, silly us, that folks are actually going to do that.
Yeah.
And that's not the case. And this is a perfect case of that. Now, especially when you think you have a valid reason to use that data, it's for good.
Yeah. Okay. Describe good.
Well, it's, okay, so they're investigating crimes.
Okay.
It's a good thing.
Okay.
So that information is available. And so they reach out and they grab it and they look at it, and now they know more information. They can do better investigations, so they don't have to point to that because they have that information. Now they can use it to go drill further someplace else.
So it's good that they collect all the data.
Okay, well, this is one of those things with, again, the Constitution.
Yep.
So illegal search and seizure, Fourth Amendment rights, the FBI shouldn't be able to just, or any law enforcement firm or any any investigative arm of the government, let's not talk about how many of those there are, because that gets painful.
Yes.
So they shouldn't just be able to wander off and do that and collect information about people.
They shouldn't be able to, yet they accidentally are, or incidentally are.
But they said they wouldn't misuse it. So let's talk about what this article really gets into. Within the information, the CIA and the NSA, who are actually very practiced at this kind of nonsense, they were able to say how often they used that data.
Well,
how often they do it.
They were able to see how often that data was being grabbed?
Yeah, it was collected and being used in their investigations.
I didn't know that was possible.
Yes, because, well, it's data,
Okay,
It's what logs are for and that kind of stuff.
Running a query, okay, makes sense.
Who ran a query? Now, the FBI, on the other hand, said, yeah, we can't tell you how often we do that. We have no method of returning that information.
So I was leading to that question, yep.
Yeah. So the FBI went, basically for a long time has said, no, we can't tell you that.
Again, they're like guys with guns versus guys with pens and running queries.
You know, Al Capone found that the guy with the pen doing the IRS investigation much more powerful than the guy with the guns. Just saying.
Very true.
He went to jail for tax fraud.
Yeah.
So, and in this situation, this is really one of those things that is really about holding people accountable.
Yeah.
To collecting that information. And it doesn't matter that this was simply the FBI. It's any organization. When they collect that information, you should expect them to start to use it because they can.
Yeah.
And when you find that they have gone beyond what the privacy expectations are in their privacy policy, you need to say something about it and hold them accountable. That is what economic freedom.
It does sound like the article was going into about kind of people were trying to bring this up.
Yes, I mean the
trying to say something.
ACLU was trying to say something. There was a senator out of Oregon, Wyndham, I think his name was, who was really pushing this as a way of saying, "Hey, you need to be accountable for this."
Yeah, I think a lot of people from what from the Senate hearings that I've been watching a lot of hours on. People are worried about it.
You need to get a life. But yes.
Tell it to my wife.
So in the situation that we're looking at here, just from a pure number situation, the Department of National Intelligence said that they use this data. The NSA had carried out 30,000 plus searches with this data, and CIA 2,300 in a 12-month period.
Okay, I was going to say, was there a time frame?
Yeah. Now, the FBI couldn't provide that
That's
information.
not a lot.
No, it's not a lot because it's there, and a lot of most of the data is really not relevant to anything.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of, you think about how many times you're on the phone, how many times do you say something significant? Or you send something out electronically, how much is this significant?
Never.
I don't know. People are really interested about how many shinies you collect on Pokemon.
That's true. Yeah.
But in this situation, the fun part of this was the FBI. Fun's probably not the right word, except how I use it. The FBI carried out 6,800 queries of the database. So, not as much as the CIA. Oh, wait a minute. I forgot to say something.
Okay.
That wasn't in a year. That was in a day.
Oh, a day?
A day.
That's a big difference.
They carried out, and I'm quoting from the article here, carried out 6,800 queries of the database in a single day in December 2017 using Social Security numbers. And that's the other thing about this is, in many cases, and the FBI in theory is, not allowed to what's called de-anonymize the information. And we've talked about de-anonymization before.
Yep.
Where the data is collected, it's not tied to any individual, but by linking it to other information, you can figure out who that was.
Eventually, yep. So, but this is just straight up, this came from this person.
This came from this person, yeah. So they would normally have a tag on it. But in this case, the tag was a Social Security number, and okay, got it. So that's a pretty definitive definition.
Yes.
And again, I'm going to quote here from the article. the FBI's use of the database, which is specifically defined in law as only being allowed to be used for foreign intelligence matters, was a completely routine use of their of investigations that they were performing, which is generally a bad thing, because that shouldn't be a primary source of record for you.
Not at all.
But again, should we have expected any different?
Yes, we should.
Okay, but again, we find that Facebook, we find that Twitter.
But the government is accountable.
And so are Facebook, and so are Twitter.
But government accountability, just weird to say. Sorry, slight little jab.
Your inner libertarian is beginning to show.
Yeah. So, if you watch the news and people are already having issues, so we shouldn't. I mean, this stuff shouldn't happen. Let's be honest.
I'm just going to be clear. And nor should it happen in any company. When you have a boundary of data, and you said you're going to use it in a given way, you should only use it in that way. Now, I get that everybody thinks there's a greater good for that information. Like I'm solving crimes, I'm providing the next best graphical image analyzer. Not sure that's the same, but I'm trying to make a lot of money. That's clearly not the same. But, everybody has their drivers.
Yes.
And when they have access to information, especially information we've learned has value. Side note, it used to be that we considered this type of information toxic.
Yeah.
Because it was so dangerous to hold that you could get you sued the pants off of you.
What happened?
Then it became valuable. It's still toxic, but it's still valuable. It's kind of like certain rare earth materials.
Oh, sure. Okay, so, like oil.
Yeah. So it's not good for you, but we still use it because it's valuable. So the
information is like oil.
Makes the world go round.
Yep.
So
with that, we're gonna end this really quick,
please,
before we start getting into way too many side notes. But stay tuned for tomorrow's video. Hopefully the audio will work this time. I'll try not to unplug anything by accident. And we're gonna dive deeper in this, and probably a longer conversation. So with that, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and then hit that bell notification as well. That way, when the next video comes out, you'll be notified.
Thanks, folks, and please make a comment to us, and I'll actually have to respond.
Happy trails.